Today we're here with Glenn Van Ekeren, president of Vetter Senior Living. Glenn, how did you get started in this profession? Was there a certain person or event that inspired you?
Well, frankly, it's kind of an interesting story. So I've been in long-term care for 42 years. The first 20 years, I worked with adults with disabilities, and that position came about almost by accident. I won't go into the long story, but it did set the stage for me developing a real passion for the profession. While I was working with adults with disabilities, I started doing some professional speaking. Again, whole other story. But I was called by Vetter Health Services at the time and said, hey, we understand you do some speaking. Would you speak to our administrators? And so I spoke to their fall conference, and we built a relationship, and I started doing more and more speaking for Vetter Health Services. And about 15, 16 years later, Jack came to me and said, hey, would you ever have an interest in joining Vetter Health Services? And at the time, I said, you know what, we love our small community, my kids are loving their school, et cetera, et cetera. Long story short, in 1999, we finally decided to make the move, and after 20 years working with adults with disabilities, made the move to working with seniors. So we moved from a little town in Iowa to Omaha, Nebraska, which by the time we moved, my daughter was a junior in high school. So if you ever want your daughter to hate you for a period of time, just move her in her junior year of high school. But come January, she met her future husband, and now I'm her hero. So it all works out okay.
Oh, that is a great turnaround.
I know, isn't that a great story? So I've been with Vetter Senior Living for 22 years, and it's just been a fabulous journey.
Fantastic. Well, your company manages and operates more than 30 centers. How do you ensure quality care at each and every one of those centers?
Yeah. Well, I would be naive if I didn't admit to you at the outset that ensuring we have the kind of world-class quality that we want to have across all of our facilities, it provides job security for many of us. And as passionate as everyone in the organization is about quality, it's not an easy process. But when you say, how do you do it? I think the real guiding force for us is our mission, our vision, our values. They direct every action we take, every decision we make is determined by what we believe in. And many, many years ago, Jack decided that the driving force in the company would be dignity in life. And we just interpret that as just treat everyone as the most important person in your life. And that's kind of the umbrella of everything that we do. And then we have some very specific vision statements on quality and our values, and they all guide us to be who we really want to be and to provide the quality that we believe in. An outgrowth of that, actually it started with the AHCA Quality Initiative. And when they started setting some standards, we as a company said, well, how could we be better than that? So we established 11 world-class standards. We worked with Dr. Gifford to say, we don't want to compare ourselves to other people, but how can we set standards that would make us a step above? And we've been operating with those 11 world-class standards for many years. And I would be the first to admit to you that they're pretty aspirational in nature, but everyone has agreed they have set the stage for us to really achieve a high level of quality in everything we do. And we just believe that the world-class standards require us to prove ourselves every day. As Mark Parkinson said to me one time, you'll never win the battle of anecdotes, so you got to have the data to prove it. And we have become a much more data, not driven company, but data sensitive company to really say, you know, how are we doing? Are we at a level that we can be proud of? And if not, what's it going to take for us to get there? So we're pretty realistic about the world-class standards, and we know that they're only achievable if we have a culture in place that our team members love. And so as important as the quality is, Culture is really our priority initially. And we have a little motto that says, let's make where we work a place we love to be. And that is a driving force for a lot of what we do every day. So culture is the beginning point, and then we can build on that. If we don't, we have 3,200 family members in the Better Senior Living family. And if they don't love what they do every day, if they're not passionate about serving our elderly, then none of our standards mean anything to us. So that's our driving force.
I love that. I love how you take these big ideas of quality and culture and really use values and standards to break it down and make it easily applicable as you go about your job and your daily life. I think that's fantastic.
Deb, that's a good point. They're not, I know it sounds like really philosophical, but frankly, our team would tell you, they're very practical. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it really grows out of this, I think, heartfelt message that, you know what, our seniors deserve the very best that we can provide for them, regardless of what the circumstances are. So quality shouldn't be driven by circumstances. Quality is driven by what do we believe our seniors deserve? And then you do everything in your power to make that possible. So, yeah.
Wonderful. So from your perspective, what are some of the biggest challenges facing long-term and post-acute care providers?
For us, it's very simple to answer, and that is, how do we sustain our desired and, up to this point, proven level of quality, given the challenges that we face today? But ultimately, again, as I just said, I don't think quality depends on circumstances. So for us, that really has become our number one challenge. In line with that, I really think we have an obligation today to transform both the public and government's view of long-term care. And so, long time ago, with the world-class standards, we said, listen, what is it we can do to transform the view of senior living? And the way in which we're going to do that is, let's do what we do like no one else does it. Let's figure that out. So if everybody's doing long-term care this way, or assisted living this way, what little things can we do that would help us to rise above the norm a little bit? So, I mean, there's no secret right now that the microscope is on us, right? And we believe that's a great thing. I love having the microscope on us because it's our opportunity to prove to those around us that we are committed to the results that we say we're committed to. And we're going to be a living example of what world-class senior care should be all about. And again, the anecdotes don't mean anything. We are determined. We're going to prove it, and we'll prove it through our data. So, I think one of the challenges we face in our profession is we have to get past the when we syndrome. When we get the right reimbursement, when regulations are eased, when we get through the staffing crisis, and if we wait for that, I mean, I'm old. I can't wait that long, right? I mean, we got to get this thing taken care of now. And so let's just do the right thing for the right reasons in the right way, and ultimately good things are going to happen. But I've got to change the way I look at this microscope on me and see it as a huge opportunity today to prove what we've always said we are.
Well, that's a perfect lead-in. What are the biggest opportunities you're seeing, obviously, to prove, what we've all said as far as quality and care? Yeah. What other opportunities do you see?
Number one, I don't know why I'm so passionate about it, silence the critics. We are extremely proud of what we do, and we're proud of the results that we've achieved. And I see that as a continuing opportunity, and always will be an opportunity. So it's silence the critics, but on the other side, really make friends and build relationships with the families and with the residents, and create cultures where team members love to work. We can sit around and talk about the crisis in staffing all day long and achieve absolutely nothing. But if we do talk about what kind of cultures are we creating where people want to work, then some of that periphery stuff goes away because it focuses back on what responsibility do we have to make it happen. And that's, I hope we embrace that. Our team that's here at the Quality Summit, we were just talking about an experience they had not so long ago at a state association conference. They had a roundtable discussion, and within a few minutes, it turned into a bellyache, moan, and groan session, and never got past that to then what are the solutions? And we challenge our leadership every day. You know, any idiot can come up with the problems. That's not too hard these days, right? But it's going to take somebody who wants to be a little different to come up with the solutions. And that's who we want to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love that mindset. Instead of waiting for the day that everything is better, what are we doing now?
Yeah.
How are we holding ourselves accountable now? Yeah, that's great.
If I was as young as you, I could sit around and wait for that, but I can't sit around and wait for that, Deb. So it's time right now to make it happen.
Now.
All right.
Well, the last few years have obviously disrupted the sector. What do you think we'll see moving forward in terms of innovations, new opportunities, horizons? What do you see going forward in the next few years?
Well, don't take this too, once again, philosophical. I am kind of philosophical. We were joking at lunch. We were talking to somebody whose son is bilingual. I'm like, oh my gosh, I tried to take Spanish in college and I had to talk the academic dean into dropping out and taking 3 courses in philosophy. So I tend to be a little philosophical because I got out of Spanish, so that's why I go down this path. Well, somebody said to me one time that all organizations are designed to get the results they're getting. And I thought about that, and I think we have to take that to heart right now, that if you don't like what you see, there's only one person who can change that. If you like what you see, then figure out how to build on it, right? So if I'm perfectly designed as a company, Better Senior Living is perfectly designed to get the results we get, we ask the question, what is it that got us here? And what's going to help us to go beyond where we are? I think it was Albert Einstein who said, we cannot solve the problems we currently face with the same thinking we had when we created them, or something like that. And so we have a huge emphasis on we got to change the way we think about things. Because today, as we've said for about 5 to 7 years, we got to learn to dance on a moving carpet. And everything inside of our profession is shifting and moving and changing, and we just learned, over the past couple of years, if you decide to stand still, you're probably dead in the water. So that changing the way we think about things, I see as one of the most innovative things. This sounds strange, but I think it's one of the most innovative things we can do moving forward. How do I look at this profession differently than I've ever looked at it? How do I look at my role? How do I look at our outcomes? How do I look at our residents? How do we look at families different than we ever have before? And then let's get innovative to say, how can we become radically different? How do we just change the entire landscape? How do we change the view of what we've been perceived to be for years and years and years? There's some real and by the way, don't take this wrong. I don't think we need grandiose changes. I just think we need to build, we need to build on little changes, and little changes become big changes, and big change and big change. I've been in it for 42 years, and I think there's a tendency for us to, instead of changing who we are, we try to defend who we are. And we got to get past that. We just got to get real, we got to get honest, and we got to say, listen, we can't defend it any longer, but we can get innovative, and decide what it is we can do. So our question is, are we as good as we think we are? Does the data prove it? And if not, what do we plan to do, innovatively to get better results than what we're getting today? And the Quality Summit, I mean, what a wonderful opportunity it is to come together with our peers, to talk to each other and to hear others and their expertise and their ideas, and to quality partners up there, our vendors. I mean, there's some real opportunity here to take the profession beyond where we've been. So I'm excited about the future.
I think that's such a great point, though, about mindset, of changing how you think about it. We're not going back to the normal. Things aren't, unhappening. The change will always happen. If it's not pandemic or workforce, then it's something else, some new thing that will come along. So by having that mindset to rise above and to do those things regardless of the circumstances, so critical. So
well,
critical.
we were talking upstairs during lunch. I said, so 15 years ago, for those of you who were in the profession, what was the number one concern? What do you think it was? Staffing. Nothing has changed.
Right.
All right?
That is true.
There's a different angle, there's a different intensity, but the reality is we will continually face the same challenges we've faced as a profession since we began. And so you got to get to a point of saying, hey, what's an unthinkable thing to do right now? But if we could do it, it would change our position. It would change the quality of outcomes that we're able to get. And then go after it. But we can't do that till I change the way I think and, of course, the way I act about things. It's just not going to happen. I can't keep thinking the same way I think and then think that different and better results are going to occur. So at least I'm not passionate about it.
Well, I think your philosophy background has served you well. I think it's a really great way to reframe it. And thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us for a few minutes about the care sector and the ways that we need to rethink about it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate being invited. It was a lot of fun, Deb.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.